It's summer. I have felt the sun on my skin. I've been swimming. I've had my iced coffees, had ice cream. Like, it's summer. And you know what I haven't done? Read a summer romance yet. I haven't done that yet. And I was thinking, I need to curate my perfect summer TBR. But while I'm at it, I might as well tell you guys all about my favorite summer books that I've ever read years prior, and books that I think you should read this summer if you haven't already. And then I'll show you my TBR for this summer. I gotta start reading the summer romances. Summer hits, and I need summer romances. I don't like to deviate from them that much, but sometimes after reading a bunch of summer romances, you gotta switch it up. So I do have other recommendations that aren't just summer romances in here for you guys, and then some as well on my TBR that aren't just romance. But please be warned, a majority of these books are gonna be summer romances. In my opinion, it's the perfect book for the summer. So we gotta get comfy. I have quite a lot of books to show you guys. Here's just one stack that I have to start with. So yeah, get comfy and cozy, and I'm gonna tell you all the books you should read this summer. So first, like I said, summer romances. You have to read at least one summer romance in the summer. It just hits different. I love summer romances. First of all, this I guess isn't really a summer romance, the first book I'm recommending you. Not a summer romance, but it gives summer romance, kind of. Actually, no. Just ignore what I said. This is like more literary fiction, but it's set place in the summer in Malibu. And look at this cover. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. It's screams summer. I want to be laying on the beach or by the pool reading this book. And you should too. I read this last year. And this is actually, I think it's my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid book. Maybe The Seven Husbands is above this, but honestly, I'm not the biggest Taylor Jenkins Reid fan. I haven't loved all of her books. I've read a few of them, and they're always like 4-star at the highest. This one I really liked, and I liked the family aspect of it. With literary fiction, you're gonna get deeper meanings, deeper themes, and if that's what you want this summer, read this because it's still summer vibes, but not just cheesy, corny romance. It's actually a lot deeper than that. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the books because I have a bunch here to recommend you, so I'm going to give you a quick little synopsis, I suppose. This book follows the Riva family, which if you read Daisy Jones and the Six, you might remember Mick Riva. He is a professional famous singer, and this is the story of his kids, and you know that there's a house party, and by the end of the house party, the house goes up in flames. That's all you know going into it, and you just learn about the kids' past, and you learn the present timeline and what causes the house to eventually go up in flames. That's all I'm going to say. Like I said, short and quick, simple, easy. Next, I'm sure you've heard of this book, maybe even read it, but if you haven't read it, this is your time to read this book. It's perfect for the summertime. The Unhoneymooners. I read it like 2 summers, maybe 3 summers ago. It's literally perfect for the summer. It is about 2 people, the best man and the maid of honor, I'm pretty sure, or just the bride's sister, who absolutely hate each other. Then they go on the honeymoon for the bride and groom because... Okay, I'm explaining this terribly. So the bride and groom get married. Okay. So there's a wedding. Okay, no. Take 3 or 4, whatever. So there's a wedding and food poisoning breaks out. Everyone at the wedding, the couple of the bride and groom, whatever, they're sick. But you know who isn't sick? The sister of the bride and the best man, because they didn't eat the food. So then they're the only 2 that aren't sick, and the bride and groom has paid already non-refundable for this honeymoon, and they're like, hey, you 2 should just go on the honeymoon so it doesn't go to waste. Guess what? They hate each other, of course. So enemies to lovers, honeymoon, vacation, romance. Perfect. And you know what? After this one, you can go straight into The Honeymoon Crashers, which is an audiobook. It's a novella to The Unhoneymooners. I think it's only an audiobook. It is one of those audiobooks that has like sound effects and music, and like when there's a phone call, you hear the phone ringing, and there's like tropical music and waves crashing in the background. It is the perfect summer audiobook. I loved it. It is so sweet and simple and cute. So The Honeymoon Crashers is literally about, you know what, upon further reflection, I can't tell you what The Honeymoon Crashers is about because it gives a spoiler for The Unhoneymooners, but it's just a novella to that book, and it's a great audiobook, so you should definitely have that on your list if you're going to read The Unhoneymooners, or if you've already read The Unhoneymooners and you haven't listened to the new audiobook, you definitely should. Moving on, another like basic one you've probably already read, but if you haven't, you need to read the It Happened One Summer in Hook, Line, and Sinker duology. I don't know what the duology is called. I know there's like a name for these kind of things. Oh, like Knox Harbor duology. Is that what it's called? You know what? It doesn't matter. Anyways, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't the biggest fan of the first book. I just felt like their romance was a little bit too physical, insta love. Didn't really like it that much. But if you like Schitt's Creek, this book is kind of based off that, those vibes, like Alexis from Schitt's Creek. So if you like that, you'll probably like this. But Hook, Line, and Sinker I loved, which I did not expect to since I didn't really like the first book. I like this one more. A lot of people like the first one more. So it really just depends on your preference and taste. This one, it felt like a cute summer romance. I don't know how to describe it. Like, it is a more friends to lovers slow burn. This one is more enemies to lovers. Well, there you go. This one's more enemies to lovers. This one's friends to lovers. And I just love a good friends to lovers in the summer. It hits different to me. This one's so cute. I have actually vivid memories of the scenes in this book, like the text that they send each other, so sweet, and the jealousy in this book is really good. You just need to read it. Honestly, if you tried this one, you didn't like it, and you never read this one, go read this one because I like this one a lot more than this one. Next, a trilogy, The Summer I Turned Pretty. This is the epitome to summer to me. Like, if I had to only recommend one book series, or if you like name a book series that gives summer vibes off the bat immediately, this is the one that's coming to my head, The Summer I Turned Pretty. It just is summer, and the TV show, so good. Actually so good of a book to show adaptation. I love the characters, I love the actors in that, and the summer vibes are so good. I'm actually quite upset that there's not going to be a new season this summer and we have to wait till next summer for the final season. So I guess I'll just be rewatching the first 2 seasons this summer because I need The Summer I Turned Pretty in the summertime. It just is unmatched. If you haven't read the series yet, you definitely should. If you've already watched the show, you can still read the books, so you get a lot more of the characters obviously in the books, and it's a little bit different. And then obviously the 3rd season isn't out, so you can read the 3rd book and kind of know what's gonna happen. Like, if you just can't wait, you can go ahead and read the 3rd book. I love it. Is it cheesy? Yes. Is it the epitome of like high school romance in the summer? Yes, but I love it and I eat it up. And it is just so easy to read, and you need to read it, honestly. I might reread it this summer because I love it so much. Another obvious one is just any Emily Henry book. I've read Beach Read, People We Meet on Vacation, and Happy Place. Honestly, if I had to say my favorite, Beach Read. This is the first Emily Henry book I've ever read, so I feel like it has even more of a special place in my heart, and I automatically loved it, fell in love. I think this is like one of the first 5 stars that I read when I started reading again. But back then I was also giving 5 stars out like candy because I just like didn't know what was like really good compared to just good, because I just started reading again for the first time, so everything was like amazing to me. But this one I remember vividly the feelings I felt while reading this, and I was like, this is different than any of the ones I just rated 5 stars. Like, this is more special, and that's when I kind of started realizing that, like, oh, I don't have to rate everything 5 stars just because I enjoyed reading it. Anyways, Gus, yes. This, I don't even have words for the feelings I felt while reading this, the feelings I feel about thinking about this book. I'm gonna reread it this year too. It's also on my summer TBR to reread. If you haven't read this yet, please read it. It's just perfect for the summer. It's about 2 authors that write opposite genres. One is a romance author, one's like a science fiction. I don't know what he does, but he's a writer too. And they're kind of academic rivals, but not really. They're just kind of enemies. And then they actually, for the summer, are at neighboring lake houses, so they see each other all summer long, and then they kind of agree to like help each other write the other person's book. So it kind of is like a rom-com where he does like romance stuff for her to help her write her romance book, and then they do like science stuff for him. It's just perfect, and the quotes from this book are so good. Just read it, please. And then People We Meet on Vacation. Honestly, don't have that much of a recollection of this book. I didn't really like it I obviously didn't like it as much as Beach Read, but it was still really good. And I know that this is some people's favorite, so I guess it just depends. Like, this is enemies to lovers, kind of friends to lovers. So again, it kind of depends on your preference and taste, which is weird because sometimes I prefer friends to lovers. But anyways, this one I think is like childhood best friends, or just like really close friends. Maybe not childhood. But then they start going on like this vacation once a year. Oh, I remember. Yeah, it's about 2 friends, and then they agree to go on like these vacations every year, and then one year they just stop doing it and you don't know why, or like how they kind of fell out of contact. And you're just reading about the past, all of their summer trips from the past, and then the future as well, like what happened, and you're discovering what went down. This one has a good quote too, but I don't remember it off the top of my head, which I probably shouldn't tell you anyways. But this one's really good as well, just not my favorite. And this one, Happy Place. I think I'm also gonna reread this year as well because I think when I read this, I didn't read it in the summer. I think I read it like September or late August last year, and it just didn't hit the same. I want to read it in the summertime. I think the reason that kept this from a 5-star to me is just the fact that it was a little bit too deep, hit a little bit too close to home. I related to it a little bit too much where I was like, I need to read something else to escape. But I think now at an older age, a little bit, I don't want to say mature because I literally read this last year. I don't know how much I've matured over a year, but still, a different age, different time in my life, maybe I will be able to get past the fact that this one kind of broke my heart a little bit and read it again and see if my thoughts have changed because this was so close to a 5-star. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. Oh my god, this is about like all the friends that, okay, I can't even explain this in a simple sentence because there's so much that goes on in this book, but basically it's about like a couple who met in college and their friend group, and they go on this vacation to Maine every year, and this year the couple has actually broken up and none of their friends know, and they kind of have to pretend like they're not broken up so that they don't ruin the vacation for everybody else. And that's all I'm gonna say. If that intrigues you, go read this book, but it's so much more than just like a romance. Just know that going into it because I mean all of Emily Henry's books are kind of like that. This one just hit me deep, so I am gonna reread it this year though. That was just one of my stacks, so I gotta do rapid fire for the next stack or else we're gonna be here 4 hours. I only have a few more of like the summary romance ones, and then I can give you a little bit of a different genre for recommendations. Every Summer After, just the epitome of childhood friends to lovers in the summer. This one really reminded me of Love in Other Words and maybe The Summer Turned Pretty, I don't remember. Oh my god, I just remembered something that happened in this book that irked me, and that's why I didn't give it 5 stars. But it's still a cute, quick summer high school romance. If you like those, if you like The Summer Turned Pretty, read this. Better than the movies. This one doesn't take place in the summer, but it is a rom-com. Literally take a rom-com, shove it into a book. This is it. This is my favorite YA romance I've ever read. I love Lynn Painter. I love all of her books that I've read, but this one takes the cake. It's my favorite. It is perfect for the summer if you just want a sweet rom-com. Their neighbors, he helps her try to get the boy that she likes attention. Like, just read it, please. Okay. Wow, I'm doing such a good job at explaining things, but like I said, we're keeping things quick. Oh my god, this one ripped. That is breaking my heart, but it's okay. Ready or Not. This one's more of a recent read for me, but I think it'd be perfect to read in the summer. I mean, look at the cover. It's beautiful. It kind of gives spring vibes, but I think it could be read in the summer just the same. It is about a girl who becomes unexpectedly pregnant from a one-night stand, and she has to figure her life out. She's about to have a child, and she has to figure out her relationships. She obviously has the father of her future child involved, and then her best friend's brother, who has been one of her best friends since childhood. And she just has to figure her life out. You're watching her figure it all out. It's not really a love triangle, so don't worry about that. It's like pretty clear who the love interest is. And if you love acts of service, this right here, acts of service, I love him so much. Read this, please. And then lastly, for like the romance category, we have Picking Daisies on Sundays. This is a more recent read for me as well, and it is a indie published book which I found on Amazon, and I saw some people on TikTok talking about it, which made me want to try it out. I've never read this author before. It's so cute and sweet. If you want a sweet, happy book, perfect. It is so cute, and I love how she is a fashion designer. She like fashion designs. Well, that's incorrect. She creates her own clothes, and I liked that aspect of the book. That's like something that really stuck with me. This is childhood best friends again, which, you know, it hits different in the summer, like I said. Basically, they're childhood best friends. She wants something more to happen, and it kind of disintegrates, and then they don't talk again for a few years, and they meet back up in the future and rekindle their friendship, and you just kind of see what happens, and it's really cute and happy and a really quick read. Okay, now for the last few really quick rapid fire suggestions. I've been saying it's rapid fire, but you know, I like to talk. So, The Song of Achilles. This isn't a summer romance, but it is romantic. Romance is in it. It will crush your soul, and it might be a little bit hard to read. It was a little bit hard for me to read, to get into, but back then I didn't even read fantasy, so this was a big jump from easy summer romances to this. But I'm so glad that I read it. I still think about this book actually quite frequently, especially the ending and all of that. And I just think if you haven't read it yet, I think it'd be perfect to read in the summer. It kind of does give summer vibes, like the beach, and like, I just don't remember if there was like a beach. I don't know. You know what? Forget what I'm saying. But this one's really good if you're looking for something different. For fantasy, I think Powerless would be perfect to read in the summer. It's romantasy, so it's still like got that romance aspect. And if you like The Hunger Games, you'll like this. I also think The Hunger Games could be good for the summer, now that I'm thinking of it. But Powerless, I just think could be fun in the summer because it's not any like season heavy, like it's not like definitely fall, definitely winter or anything. So I think you could read this any time of year, but I think summer is fun because it's like a quick, it's not that quick, it's pretty long, but it's like an easy romance to read. This is like, I still am slowly getting into fantasy, so this was easy for me to read and I absolutely loved it. You can see my tabs. The guy in this book, if you want a fictional male character to obsess over all summer, then read this. And then lastly, if you're looking for something a little bit YA mystery vibe, then I think you should read the Natural series. I read this last summer and I just like, sometimes you just need something different after you read so many summer romances in a row. That was me last summer and I was like, give me something different. The Natural series, it is about a group of gifted kids, teens. They're not kids, they're definitely like young adult teens who have different abilities that actually form a group and help the FBI solve murder cases. And it's like Criminal Minds with teenagers, I suppose, and like more romance. I've actually never watched Criminal Minds, but my sister has, so I don't actually know if there's romance in that, but this does. This has romance. It has a love triangle, but you do kind of know who the main guy is. At least I did, and I was like, I hope it's this person. It's just really quick and it's so interesting. Like, YA mysteries are always so interesting to me. Like, they keep me on my toes. I want to keep reading. I need to find out, and each book is so different, but you also focus on like different characters of the friend groups in each book. I just love it. I wish I could reread it for the first time again, and if you haven't read it, read it this summer, please. Well, I've been yapping for 26 minutes. Gonna have to edit that down, but now we can finally move on to my summer TBR, the books that I really want to read this summer. I think there's like 15. I'll try to make it quick. I mean, obviously I don't know too much about them, so I'll just tell you a little bit about why I want to read them. Okay, starting off strong with the YA mystery series trilogy, The Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. Okay, listen, I've read the first one. I read this like forever ago. I don't even know how long ago. And it just like wasn't anything special to me. Like, I liked the first book, but I was just like, eh. Like, it wasn't like the Natural series or like the Inheritance Games series to me. So this one I was just like, okay. But I feel like I need to reread it, okay? I've seen too much hype about it. There's a show coming out, I think this summer, so I really want to read the whole series before the show comes out. I saw the trailer, it looks so good. So I'm like, maybe I was missing something. Like, maybe I was in a bad place to read this book back then. Like, I need to try again. So I'm trying again. I'm going to reread the first one. I also have the second and the third book, so I'm going to try to read these this summer and give it another chance. I just need to know. Like, I've heard good things about it, and I just finally think it's time to try this series again. Then I have two books that have been on my TBR for forever, and they don't necessarily give off summer vibes. Like, they're not summer romances, but I think they would still be good to read in the summer. And the first one is Magnolia Parks. I don't know how I still haven't read this series. I really want to read this series, and I think I need to read it now. Like, this is the time, the summer feels right to at least start the series. I just feel like that. So it's on my summer TBR. I don't know if I'll read the whole series, but I'll at least probably read the first one. Then I have the Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. I just always want a Christina Lauren book in the summer. I think because of the Unhoneymooners, like, so ever since I read that, I was like, Christina Lauren feels like summer to me. And I know this isn't based in the summer, but it is just a cute romance that I feel like you can read any time of year, but will still be cute in the summer. Then I have a stack of just summer romances that I think are summer romances that I want to read this summer. So we have Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. I have so many Colleen Hoover books I still need to read. I went through, that was a lot louder than I anticipated. Anyways, I went through a big Colleen Hoover phase. I'm sure a lot of us have when I first started getting back into reading, so I have collected quite a few of them, and then I kind of stopped reading them and was like, there's other better books and better authors out there. But I feel bad having so many unread books on my shelf, so I am going to try to get into that dent a little bit. So I want to read Heartbones. This one is based in the summer. It's like they go on a summer vacation and they have like a summer house. When two finds themselves spending the summer as neighbors, they soon realize money is one of the few things they don't have in common. I don't know, but I just know it's like in the summer. So I'm gonna try to read this. Next, I am a little bit conflicted. I was a bit conflicted on if I should put this on my summer TBR. I mean, there's a beach on the cover, which is the main reason why I wanted to put this on my summer TBR. But I have heard that it's like sad. But sometimes after reading, again, so many summer romances in a row, you want something different, and this can be my little something different. Maybe heartbreaking, kind of like Dear John vibes. I don't know, but it's on my TBR. We'll see if I read that. And then we have Meet Me at the Lake and The Summer Will Be Different. This is the same author as Every Summer After, which I recommended earlier, and I never read Meet Me by the Lake just because I heard mixed reviews about it. So I never picked it up. But this summer is a summer because I really want to read this one. This one has been going around TikTok. Everyone's loving it. I really, really want to read it, but I know if I don't read this like first, I'm never going to reach for it. So my little reward to myself is that if I read this, I can read this. Then for Emily Henry, I haven't read Book Lovers yet. I also heard kind of mixed reviews on this and kind of put me off, and I just haven't picked it up again, and I kind of wanted to wait until summer so I can have an Emily Henry book to read for summer because Funny Story, the one that came out this year, isn't in paperback yet, and I refuse to buy it until it's in paperback to match the rest of my Emily Henry books. So this is the one I'm going to read this summer, Book Lovers. I don't really know much about it except for the fact that they probably both like books. Okay, last few books on my TBR. We have Carrie Soto is back, Taylor Jenkins Reid. I don't know why I keep buying Taylor Jenkins Reid books when I don't ever really love them, but I just feel like I need to read them, and like they're kind of like a yearly staple for me. I need to read one every year, and I didn't read Carrie Soto's Back last summer or last year when it came out, so I'm gonna read it this year, and it's about a tennis player, and that's all I know. I just really want to read a Taylor Jenkins Reid this summer, so we have that. Then The Summer of Broken Rules. I never read this when it was like popular back then. I've had it on my TBR for a while, just never read it yet, but it has summer in the title. I think this one is also about like a family annual vacation. Yep, annual family vacation to Martha's Vineyard. I've never read a book set in Martha's Vineyard, so that will be fun to read about. I feel like that's a perfect summer backdrop, so we have that. Same Time Next Summer by the author who wrote Nora Goes Off Script. I really like that book. Like, it's short, sweet, simple, easy to read. So I wanted another one by her, and I love how she always writes about older adults like in their 30s. It's something different than what I usually read, so I'm excited to read this. I know nothing about it. I like to go in blind, but it has summer in the title, so that's why I bought it. Then last for my summer TBR, I have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I have only read one other book by her, Yours Truly. I really liked it. I didn't give it, it wasn't a 5-star for me, but it was like a high 4-star, so I'm excited to try another book by her, and this one I've heard really, really, really great things about. I've heard it's kind of a tearjerker, not as much like a summer go happy romance, but that's okay. Like, I like that every now and then. But other than that, I know nothing about it. It's summery, and I have to read it this summer. That's all. That's all it takes. So those are all the books on my summer TBR. Let me know what books are on your summer TBR. I hope that you got some summer book recs out of this video. And if you've read any of these, let me know your thoughts and we can talk about them in the comments. Thank you for watching this. I can't wait to hear about the books you read this summer, and I'll see you really, really soon in my next video.